Welcome back, gamers. It's time to play a little Heroes Charge. Now, I was supposed to post this video a while back, but I did end up getting sick during my first week of training, so I didn't really record any videos until today. So, let's see what we can do here. Basically, the point of this video was to talk about the guild tournament. The way that it works is when you sign up, everybody in the guild gets some coins or whatnot, and then once at the day after sign up, each member puts teams into certain lanes, and you're supposed to put the teams together. And then after everyone's teams are together, the timer runs out. The following day, you then go through each battle. So it starts off with the preliminaries, where one team goes randomly against another team, and and of course whoever wins 2 out of 3 lanes wins. So the top lane, middle lane, and bottom lane. And then of course, if your guys win, you go to the next round. You keep going until everyone's eliminated in whichever um, slot you put your team in. So our first and foremost, our guild didn't make it. Unfortunately, we did much worse than usual. Once your team actually wins the preliminaries, you get to the brackets where you know you have all your teams showing, and then if you don't make it, then of course all you can really do at this point is just bet. Which, as a matter of fact, I'm not sure if I made my bet or not. Let me see. No, I haven't. And I usually win my bets because I've pretty much learned which teams typically win. Um, I definitely, matter of fact, I last time I had picked Intensity, I picked Two Face, and I didn't pick Intensity twice because they have Intensity. Basically is what I call a super guild. Basically, a guild made up of other guilds, and then what happens is when it comes to guild tournament, they just put the top players together, and then they just kind of build them up to give their players a better chance of winning overall. I'm not a fan of super guilds. I think it kind of ruins the idea of competition because instead of every guild just kind of fending for themselves and doing their own thing, all these guilds are going to ally with each other, which means that you can't attack each other in arena. You have to try to avoid a bunch of other people. So it kind of limits what you can do. So you really can't do your own thing. Like your guild is run by pretty much somebody else. And then of course if people get moved around for whatever is going on, like for tournaments and whatnot. And I don't know. I don't like the idea. We did get 2 opportunities. Well, I'll put it to you this way. It's short for INC. INC is kind of what they put on their names, most of the players. Someone from INC did reach out to me saying, hey, would you be interested in this? We're not really picking you yet. We just want you to know that you're on our radar to kind of see, if you're interested. Pretty much told them, not really interested, but thanks. And then, of course, another super guild, I think it's called Ocean, I think, they have OC in their name. They also reached out to us, too, and they reached out to us twice, as a matter of fact, now that I think about it. I think they forgot that they already tried in recruiting us, but again, we're just not interested in super guilds. I mean, it just messes up the integrity of this entire game, but that's not what you wanted to hear, right? What you want to know is what to do in guild tournaments. So anyway, so right now I'm at the point where I can pick who I think is going to win. I know last time I picked Two Face and they won. I think I picked Game and I picked one of the intensity ones. So as far as Game versus Two Face, I'm going to say that's actually kind of a tough one. I'm not gonna lie. The rate of return, basically, and the more people that vote, the less of a return you're gonna get. And it's usually most of the time it's a sure thing. But on the off chance that the one with the less votes wins, you get a lot more back. But I'm gonna bet on the whatever the sure thing right now, which I think is Two Face at this point. I think they're gonna beat Game. And I can only get one vote. Now, when the first round start of the brackets, depending on what your VIP level is, you can get up to 3 votes in the first one. Some people have two, some people only have one, depending on where you're at. I get 3 because of my VIP status. But on the second and on, as the brackets go down, you only get 1 vote at a time. So I'm picking Two Face to beat Game. Intensity, the first Intensity will probably beat Legends. Even though right now apparently Legend seems to, dang, I should have picked Intensity instead of Two Face because that could have been a good upset. And then the other Intensities, I don't know. Pirates is actually one of the newest guilds that just started, I believe, and I think they came from another server or something, and they've been dominant. So that's going to be a hard one too. And as far as the ones on the bottom, I have no idea. I don't even really care because I don't think either one was going to win overall. So either way, that's my pick. But so basically, what ended up happening was if we were still building, you'd go to Inner Battlefield, which you cannot yet, and you pick your teams, and you can pick as many teams as you want as long as your heroes are no more than 10 levels below your max. So right now, my hero level is 103, so I can only stick heroes in teams that are level 93 and above. And of course, you set them in teams of five or up to five, and go from there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some fights, but I'm only going to show who I'm going to say is the MVP, which one of our newest members ended up being MVP. Let's see. So let's go to now. If you want to see how your team did, because some people had to ask me this a while back. Basically, when you're in guild tournament, go to schedule, and then of course it shows you what happened on each date. So we had the preliminaries. Your guild sent out, I don't know, X amount of teams. So we sent out 272 teams in total. Um, I guess battle ended. I'm assuming is maybe we got a bye or something, and then the second game we defeated Guild High Class from server 58. I don't think this is a top guild. I think this is just a guild that exists that signed up just for the sake of getting a bonus, which is fine. I mean that's not a bad idea either. And then we were eliminated by Guild Family 2. So I'm not sure if they're also a super guild or not, but either way, let's replay that one because I know I looked at this previously. The first one, there wasn't any fights. I think they had no teams or something, so that it doesn't make any sense. So there's usually one person that typically will win most of your fights. Now, of course, my name on here is Big MCC, but I did mostly losing. So, okay, this is the one you want to see. The one you want to see is this one. Okay, here we go. AP Max W, which I believe is actually supposed to be on a different guild, but apparently he joined up with us. But he pretty much won every single fight. Well, I'm sorry, he lost once and then proceeded to win every single fight. It's all him. Win, 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 win. This is one team beating up all these other teams. I'm just scrolling down really fast because basically, as you can tell, so is our team, which is Devotion. That's our guild name. We only lost one. So basically, we have 114 out of 115 teams alive left, which is just crazy. And then, of course, on Family, they ended up having 34 teams left out of 187. Like, we just dominated. Now, I don't know why it doesn't, like, go to the point to where someone loses all of their teams. Like, I'm not sure exactly how they figure that out. But let's show you some fights that he did. Now, I don't know if he's someone that's going to be sticking around or not because he has AP next to his name, so I'm assuming he's supposed to be in the Pirates Guild, but we're glad that we had him because he did help us win one lane. Just unfortunately, we couldn't win any others. So let's go ahead and keep going. Let's see what he did. Now, as you can see, his team is Sorceress. Uh, let's say Sorceress. I can't remember. Rose Fencer, Cleric, Soul Hunter, and Death Mage. So basically, it's three tanks, two DPS, and both DPS can control. Uh, Rose Fencer is really good against anyone that has females. He just keeps them from moving, so they're always being disabled, and he actually can deal really good damage to a lot of people. And then Sorceress, she's good at silencing. She has an ability that knocks people back. Her ultimate does lots of damage to a lot of people. She silences. She's just the total package in backline heroes. She's actually my favorite right now, as far as backline heroes are concerned. But yeah, basically she's just dominating. And as these fights go on, move my head over here because you don't want to see my head that much anyway. Basically, it shows you who they're going against, and Family has the FM, over each of their names. Now, in my guild, we don't really put any kind of special characters before our names. Like, I don't care to really do that. I don't really care. It's just what it boils down to. Just pick whatever name you want. We're just a casual guild that likes to have fun. So, That's what that is. But yeah, as you can tell, his team is just destroying everybody. Now you can't really see their life totals. Oh, you can see it if you look above the hero, but usually, like if you're playing, like an arena or something, you could actually see, what your life is at the bottom of the screen. Right now, it just pretty much tells you which battle is upcoming next, who is he about to, which two people are going to fight next. Basically, the way the guild tournament works is when they're fighting, it auto fights. So basically, think of arena if you mixed it with crusade. So basically, they just keep fighting. They don't heal automatically. They only heal if they have abilities that let them heal, like lifesteal or just a healing skill in general. And they just keep fighting and fighting and fighting until they die. But as you can see, none of his people are dying because he basically has three healers, which are his tanks. And again, like I mentioned a while back in another video, a lot of the best arena teams have lots of tanks and one, maybe two DPS. And usually your best DPS are DPS that can control the field pretty well. But as you can tell, this person, AP Max W, does not care. He is just going to keep destroying. His people are going to keep healing. He's going to control them. They're just. None of these teams stand a chance. And their levels, some of them are in the 90s, some of them are in the hundreds. And so it's kind of random, how they pits people together. I'm sure there's some kind of math behind all of this. I just don't know it. I haven't really studied it enough. But I'm not going to show you all of his fight. This is just kind of an example of what the guild tournament looks like. And some people don't know how to access the screen. So this is good for, others who don't know how to look at how their team did. And of course, if one of your team loses, your next team fights, and it goes on and on. So your teams are gone, and then basically after you're dead, your next guild member fights whoever won, and so on and so forth until somebody wins a lane. So some people have different strats. Like some people will put two of their strongest teams in two certain lanes and leave a lane empty because they don't care. As long as you win two out of three, it's fine. Some try to balance it, for all three have good teams so that they have an equal chance of winning each lane. So they want to try to get total victories overall. Just honestly, it just kind of depends on how your teams are built, your guilds are built, to kind of assess what the best strats are. Typically, with our guild, we can get to the last round of the prelims and then we lose. So we never made it to the brackets, but a lot of times, most of the times, we will at least get to the last fight, which was what happened the previous guild tournament. But I didn't think to actually make a video about it. So, and the good thing about the last one that we did is I actually was the MVP. I ended up having the most kills. As a matter of fact, in the it actually tells you which person killed the most teams, and my list was actually on there for the first time ever. It was pretty cool. It usually shows the top 50, and I think I was number 33 or something like that. I was in the 30s somewhere. It was the guild tournament before this one, and we actually got to the last round of the prelims, and then we got eliminated, so we didn't make it to the brackets, unfortunately. I think we lost to an Asian guild because it had like Japanese characters, so I wouldn't be able to tell you the name of the guild. And it was a guild in our server because we're server 58. It's a very competitive guild. I'm sorry, it's a very competitive server. So where most of the time our server usually crowds the top brackets like all the time. Like it's mostly guilds from server 58. You're lucky if your guild if you're in a different server, you're lucky if you make it into the brackets. If you're not in our server, um, it's just really competitive. That's just what it is. Like we arena for us is difficult because we have so many good players that know what they're doing and know how to build good teams. That it's just hard to get anywhere. Like the fact that I make the top 600 in arena to me is just crazy because of how many good players are out there in the server. And there are lots of servers that play in Guild Term. I think they have. It used to be just three different servers, but now I think they expanded it to like six or more. I'm not exactly sure, but yeah, it's just crazy. Like our server is just really strong with the top guilds. It's pretty cool. So We'll go ahead and make this be the last fight that you see. I don't want you to basically have to just be bored looking at this all day. This is, like I said, this is just an example. And I do want to shout out to this person that did help our guild when, like, completely dominate a lane by himself. Like, that's just good. That's just the power of good, good team building. So if you're wanting to know what kind of team should you use in guild tournament, well, this is a very good example of a team to use. Now, if you don't have all of these people, then of course you can, maybe stick someone else that does something similar. So we're gonna go ahead and retreat, so you don't have to see any more of this. This just gives you an idea. So AP Max W, and let's see if he actually made it to the tops. I'm sure he did. So if you want to see how they rank, go to ranking, and it automatically tells you who has the highest one. So let's see if he made it. We're going to scroll down. It does the top 50. Yeah, there he is. AP Max W. He killed 153 teams, and he's a level 102. So he's one level lower than I am, and just completely decimated. And he just completely won that lane for us. It's just unfortunate that we lost the other two lanes. Um, we just didn't make it. And the fact that we lost in the second round was pretty bad. Because, again, typically we can win all the way up to the very end. It's usually two teams left, and then we usually lose. But we didn't even, we didn't win two games. Like, that was just sad. Well, either way. So that's what happens. And I think when I was up there, I was, in the 30s, and they only show the top 50. And I don't think anybody else in our guild made it as far as most kills. I mean, he pretty much did all the work more or less. So shout outs to you, and I hope you stay with us. If you decide to leave, that's cool too. Because again, we're a casual guild. We're not necessarily in the top five best guilds. We're usually somewhere in the upper 20s, sometimes lower 30s. As a matter of fact, if you want to see how a guild is ranked, you just go to ranking, go to guild, and basically those activity points that basically tells you how much stamina each team produces on a 3 day period. So as you can tell, some of the top teams, like in AP Pirates, they were number two. Two Faces kind of number one. And these are people who do about an average of 700 to 800 stamina per day with their people. Now, of course, my guild's more relaxed, so we're not. I don't give them a quota, but yeah, right now our guild is actually ranked 31 as far as activity, so we're not as up there. We were up there like in probably the smaller 20s, sometimes teens, but we did recently lose some pretty good players, and most of the good players that we lose end up in the top guilds. Like a lot of them, some of them actually went to game recently, and some others, and that's cool. If you want to have if you're a hardcore player, you want to be in the top guilds, like the top 5 to 10 guilds. You want to be there. If you're dedicated to putting in all that stamina every day, you want to be there. But if you want to be in a guild that's a little more relaxed, you'll definitely want to find something that's more in the 20s and 30s. And they're usually pretty active. Like a lot of our people do, 6 to 800, but we do have a few people who have a life and they do other things, so they really only do like 400. So that's what that is, and that's cool. Like I said, I don't give them a quota. I just want them to be active, and of course, if they don't play at all, then I typically boot them. And I actually went to somewhere that you don't really need to see, but I'm actually just kind of using the training field to make my people better, because you want to do that if you want to do good in any of these modes. It's not about just leveling anymore. You also have to build them up in the heroes camp. So, random tip: use the heroes camp if you want to make your heroes better. And I might do a video one day in the future as far as what to do in heroes camp. There's just a lot that I'm still learning about heroes camp myself, because this is one of the newest things that we have. So yeah, so now that we've talked about guild tournament, I'm going to go ahead and end the video here, and then next time we'll find another subject to discuss. So thanks for watching, and you guys take it easy.